What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Rick Knows Hoops. I'm your host, Tyreek, and this is the latest installment of the What's Next series, this time featuring the Chicago Bulls. I've talked about the Bulls in a few videos this offseason, but this video is strictly dedicated to the Bulls and what's next for them and their outlook on the next regular season. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. This is a place where we talk all about NBA basketball, so if you love hoops, this is the place for you. And I got some friends that are Bulls fans, and the Bulls made a lot of good moves this offseason, and they're excited about how their regular season can pan out, potentially being a playoff team once again. I would definitely hope that they were a playoff team, given all the amount of money that they spent in the offseason, bringing in numerous different names, all the first-round picks that they've traded to bring in a few all-star caliber players. So you would hope that the Bulls would be back in the playoffs this season. But I think that they're in good shape, man. I love the moves that they had made. And it really started during the regular season, back at the trade deadline, when they traded some first-round picks, a young player in Wendell Carter, and I think Otto Porter as well, to bring back Nick Vucevic, who's an all-star caliber big, who's having one of the better seasons of his career. And his time had just ran up in Orlando. They had done, a couple playoff appearances, which was cool for a team that hadn't been there in a while. And he had made a couple all-star games, and now it's time for him to try and, be on a team that is expected to be pretty competitive in the Eastern Conference, given the Nick Vucevic move. And then the day free agency started, Lonzo Ball is coming to Chicago in the sign and trade deal. I feel like I've talked about this move a lot. I just think perfect fit. There were a few places that I thought Lonzo Ball would fit well in. One was the Bulls, the other was the Boston Celtics, and I think I had the New York Knicks on there too. But I think the Bulls is really a match made in heaven. He gets to run with Zach LaVine, and Lonzo will just be expected to do what he does best. He can help this team run in transition, spot up, hit open jump shots, and just defend. I think that's a very good pickup for him, a very good place for him to go. I think this will maximize his game as best as it can, and I think the talent put around him is some of the best that we might have seen, honestly, because this is some established all-star talent, some vets, so to say, even though Zach LaVine's not that much older. He's been in the league for a while, though. Nick Vucevic is a vet, and then DeMar DeRozan, who you also bring in, is a vet, and I think he complements his team so well. He can be another go-to scorer, in the mid-post area, somebody that's evolved into a really good playmaker, at the forward position. And I just think, another added element to this team, you got that element of Vucevic down in the paint. Then you got Zach LaVine, who's an explosive scorer, still a high flyer and stuff like that, can, shoot the lights out and just score the ball all in general. And then you got DeMar DeRozan, who's kind of a sound, all-around offensive player, playmaker a little bit, can score the ball. Still not shooting the three ball, but that's okay because you got other guys that can shoot the three ball around him. And then Zoe, I think Zoe's going to be the glue to this team. The guy that, just play makes very well. Hopefully we can see him maybe get a little more of a bigger role in the half-court game with the ball in his hands. I would love to see that. And then, the forward position is something that's kind of, in the air. We don't know what they're going to roll at the power forward spot. We'll see. I think it's going to be Patrick Williams, though, and I think that's going to be a perfect spot for him. He's going to be like the fourth or fifth option on some nights. Fourth or fifth option. Maybe the sixth option, you never really know. But I love this for Patrick Williams. He just gets to do what he does best. And he can still develop his game without being expected to do so much, as other, top 5 picks are expected to do. And I think, him playing the forward would be very good. He's going to have to be the best defender some nights. He's going to have to be the best defender. I expect him to be the guy that's going to take the task of guarding the other team's best players. So I would love to see that development of him taking that challenge on the defensive side of the ball. And I think this situation is going to be really good for him. Other guys, like young players like Kobe White, I think him, once he gets back from his injury, I believe he's supposed to miss the early parts of the season. But once he gets back healthy, he just gets to come off the bench and does what he does best, and that is get buckets. Kobe White can get buckets. They've been expecting him to be a playmaking point guard and stuff. That's just not who Kobe White is. I'm a North Carolina fan. His thing is scoring the ball. He can shoot. He can get his own shot. His thing is scoring the ball. Now his role is strictly coming off the bench and just he's going to be expected to put up points, man. And that's a perfect role for him. He should be in some Six-Man of the Year conversations this season. Other guys, the Alex Caruso pickup, it keeps slipping my mind, but that was such a great move by this Bulls front office. Caruso has been a fan favorite, in the Lakers community for the last few years, but he can really hoop. He can actually hoop. He's an excellent defender. I believe he gets better on the defensive side each season. He's just such a smart, sound player on both sides of the floor. And, he's going to get to run with that second unit. He's going to be an integral part to this Bulls team. I think he's going to get a lot of games where he's finishing the game for this Bulls squad. So I really love that pickup. Trying to think other guys that they picked up this offseason, but that's just some of the moves that they made. They also just traded Lauri Markkanen away. I almost forgot this one. traded him away in a 3-team deal. It would have been nice if maybe they could get Larry Nance Jr. back. I think that was what most Bulls fans really wanted to happen when they seen the sign and trade with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But it ended up being a 3-team trade, and the Bulls get back Derrick Jones Jr. Hopefully he can be in the rotation for this team. He kind of fell out in Portland, but hopefully he can contribute in the rotation for this Bulls team. Probably play some, for a lot for the squad because I think they're lacking in that department. But I think, that's a pickup. They had to get rid of Lauri Markkanen. They had to get rid of him. And, yeah, that had really ran its course. You also get Tony Bradley in free agency. I think he can be a good backup 5. He played some good minutes in Philadelphia last season, and he got traded at the trade deadline. I think, another Carolina player, I think he can be a very solid piece off the bench for this team. He's still a very young player. Tony Bradley came out as a one-and-done player, so he's still very young. Some things that could hurt this team, though, Thad Young, losing him was tough. I think losing Thaddeus Young was tough. That was really the glue to this team. Very good playmaker, good defender, does a little bit of everything. And losing him could be big, but getting back to DeMar DeRozan, I think, is a little worth that loss. But we'll see how much they miss Thaddeus Young. Maybe Patrick Williams really just does step up in his role. Maybe they won't be missing him at all too much. But I think that was kind of a small piece that might go under the radar. Also having to give away Daniel Tice was another one, but you had to clear up that cap space in order to bring in DeMar DeRozan. But, other than that, man, the Bulls, they made their moves this offseason. They made their moves. They also drafted Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois. So he can maybe be a surprise piece off this bench, second-round pick. I think he was a 4-year player in college, so he has experience, might be able to come in day one and help contribute on the offensive side of the ball and also defensively. But I think for the Bulls, it's just now everything just has to, everything has to come together on the court, man. I think you're expected to make the postseason now. It's last season at the trade deadline, it's like, okay, we're going to try and make a push, and if we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. They dealt with some things that they couldn't really control, like Zach LaVine getting COVID, and then, injuries to some guys. Like, they dealt with that. So, not everything was in their control. But now this season, it's like, as long as we're healthy, we should be a playoff team. And even as tough as the East has become, top to bottom, the Bulls should be right in the mix. And if not, it's gonna look very bad that they spent a lot of money this offseason to not make the playoffs. But I don't know. They have a good head coach in Billy Donovan. They have good pieces. This is the best team Zach LaVine has had around him by far. They haven't even played a game together, but this is the best team talent-wise that he's ran with by far. So the expectation is to be a playoff team. We'll see how that pans out on the court. I'm excited to watch this Bulls team. I'm just happy for guys like Zoe to be in a good situation that looks like it will fit his game and help him, spread his wings and become an even better player. And I think he's coming off a career season as far as, points per game goes and three-point percentage. We'll see how it rolls, how the Bulls roll. We'll see how it works on the court because they got a couple guys that do need the ball in their hands to, really be effective, like a DeMar DeRozan, Nick Vucevic in a way, Zach LaVine in a way too. So that's why I think guys like Patrick Williams, Lonzo Ball will be key to this, to that starting unit and, making it easier for, those guys to go get theirs. So, yeah, Bulls fans should be excited. Just trying to enjoy the moment. Don't feel like there's so much pressure for y'all to just be a very good team, even though there is, but still try to enjoy the moment, enjoy having a very talented team, which y'all haven't had in a pretty long time. And yeah, Bulls basketball looks like it's back. Let's hope so, man. I'm excited to watch the Bulls this season and some other teams. So that's the latest installment of the What's Next series. And next time I might be talking about your team, so be sure to be subscribed, turn the notification bell on so you don't miss it. And I'll be back next time with another one, y'all. Peace.